This victory for Donald Trump, this is rather a big diplomatic victory for Donald Trump going into the elections in November, and for Benjamin Netanyahu, needs to be said. What are both men getting out of this?
Well, as you said, this is a big victory for Donald Trump just before the election, something that he has been working towards and hoping for. Cast your mind back to the announcement of the peace deal that was worked out for Israel and the Palestinians by Jared Kushner. That has never come to anything.
That's
so
the
this
thing.
is another step forward in another direction to bring on two more Arab states,
Peace in the Middle East,
normalising relations with Israel, which is something that Donald Trump wanted. Why does he want it? Because he wants to have something nice to show off when he's being criticised about the fires going on in California, when he's being criticised about his handling of the coronavirus pandemic in the United States. And it's important for Donald Trump to bring on board not only the Jewish voters in the US, but also the evangelist voters, and they're in favour of Israel. So it's all good news here for Donald Trump. And it's good news for Benjamin Netanyahu because he is facing a corruption scandal. He's also facing another lockdown in Israel over coronavirus. So it's nice for him to something positive to show off on the lawn of the White House for this signing ceremony later on today. And he got through this without having to make any concessions to the Palestinians at all. The only thing that Benjamin Netanyahu has to do is to say, OK, I'm going to put on ice my plans to annex parts of the West Bank. I'm not going to withdraw it, but that was one of the preconditions for this accord with the United Arab Emirates. OK, I'll do that. Doesn't mean I'm not going to do it later, but I'll do it for the time being. That's the only condition that Benjamin Netanyahu has had to fill out so far.
Why are the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain doing this now, Philip, considering they have always advocated for Palestinian statehood?
I think there are a couple of important reasons. The first one is that as far as the United Arab Emirates is concerned, they see Israel as a key player in the region with whom they can strike interesting financial and economic deals. One of the things that the United Arab Emirates would like to have are these F-35 joint striker planes, which are only sold to Israel. That gives Israel the supremacy, military supremacy of the region. One of the pledges was that the UAE will now also get those planes, not quite as sophisticated as the ones that Israel is sold by the United States, but that will be one of the deals. They get air travel, they get tourism, they get direct phone links. So there's all these positive points. And there's something else that's important. If you look at Bahrain is usually dependent on Saudi Arabia for making decisions. And one of the reasons here, I think, that Bahrain has decided to do this is because it has got the agreement of Saudi Arabia to sign this agreement with Israel, basically because they're all shoring up in their hatred of Iran, Shiite Iran, which is the country that brings all of these countries together, including Israel, in trying to shore up in a kind of an alliance to fight off any kind of influence from Iran. So that is the reason that these countries have come together to sign this agreement. And Donald Trump is saying, well, this is basically going to give the Palestinians the necessary kick they need to get their own peace process back on the track.
Are the Palestinians the big losers today?
Yes, the Palestinians are the big losers because, as you were saying in your intro, up until now, no Arab state, apart from Jordan and apart from Egypt, had signed a peace deal with Egypt, and they would not do it until there was an agreement to set up a two-state solution in the Middle East, to withdraw the settlements in the West Bank and to give the Palestinians their own state under the 1967 borders before the Six-Day War. That has all flown out of the window now. And as Seb Erekat was saying, the chief negotiator in the Palestinian territories, the fact that they've got this agreement now signed with two more Arab countries basically means that the two-state solution for the moment is pretty much dead, and there's little hope of any kind of peace process being resuscitated in the short term.